what are action steps that one can take to give their all to Allah? I believe you covered this when you spoke about practical steps, but could you summarize again, please? Perhaps this person joined later.
Okay. Whenever you do something, the very first thing that you have to ask yourself, what it is I want to do, is it already being done? So if I wanted to set up a business, the first thing I will do some market research. And market research will tell me, well, look, is there a need for, I think it's important. I think this product will sell, but really, would people buy the product? What do the customers at the end of the day think about this particular product? So that's the very first thing. So and a lot of times we don't do our market research properly. So I am a DAWA organization. I want to do this. Okay, let's say, for instance, I want to institute a mentoring program for the workers who are there as part of my organizations in terms of capacity building and sharing of expertise and experience and so forth and so on. That's let's say one of our priorities. So we want to do something, and everybody said, yeah, it's great. But then, are there other organizations doing it? Can we learn from the experiences of others? Was it ever done in an organization before? And what were the results of it? Or if it is that it was, then why hasn't it continued? What were the lessons that ought to be learned? So we live, and in this global village that we live in, what we will find is that whatever it is that we want to do, invariably somebody somewhere has also done the same. The next thing I wanted to highlight is the need for us to be able to not just look at what it is that is being done within Islamic organizations, but there are other institutions, there are other bodies, there are also other professionals are doing things. And therefore, as Muslims, we have a responsibility to learn from others. And what I mean by that, we have to be able to draw upon expertise from other areas. They may not necessarily be Muslims. They may not, it could be they are from other faiths or other different groups, as the case may be, but learn from the experiences of everyone before we do things, rather than just, on the spur doing things. The next thing is that we need to, we always need, and I've come back to this point about setting up, strategic plans and doing things properly. Each one of us needs to know the basic tools of strategic planning and of event, of managing projects and project organization and project management. And so therefore, when we do things, we do things in a way which is, born out of knowledge, expertise, experience, and something which we know has worked in the past, rather than something done in a haphazard way. So that's something which is really important. The other point that I mentioned is that of the idea of when it is that we decide whatever it is that we want to do, to be wary about the need to have niyyah or ikhlas. I talked about doing little at a time and doing with a sense of ihsan. I spoke about the importance of, as much as du'at, that you want and you feel a sense of obligation towards helping others. There's an equilibrium, there's a sense of balance that needs to be struck. And that balance is between your own self-development and that of the need to develop others. And very often what I find happening is that there's always an imbalance between the two. Often some people, that they are so enthusiastic about wanting to do things that you ask them at the end of 5 years, what have you done? Oh, I've been able to organize, let's say, 50 programs, 50 educational programs. But when you look at them and ask about, of these 50 educational programs, what were you able to learn? How have you developed? How have you grown? How has it made an impact and a difference in terms of your understanding and practice? Then you begin to realize, hold on, there's a mismatch there. Or there are others who believe, then there are some people who believe, for instance, I call them sometimes professional students. They are so keen to want to learn and want to listen to webinars and to attend seminars and to attend workshops of great knowledgeable people, that you ask them to do anything. Can you help in this thing? No, I can't, because I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm learned enough. You need to get someone else. Not realizing that that's not the prophetic methodology. The prophetic methodology, when you say, that the prophetic methodology is one where you learn a little and then you implement it, then you begin to share it. That's what he left us with at the end of the day. And that methodology is one that we need to show in our lives. So the best way to know that you've known something or you know something is by practicing it and by sharing it. If you're able to articulate and sharing it, there is no better way than it's even better than practicing it, because practice only shows practice. There could be limitations. Sharing it means that you've understood not just the limitations, but you have solutions for limitations and for problems. So that's something which is which you ought to think about as well. So so beware of that emotional high I talked about, and realize that what you want to do at the end of the day when you do your Islamic work and you do your dawah work and you work for Allah is that you want to work as a team. And the priority at the end of the day is on team building and getting that team to work as a cohesive unit. If you find that what you're doing is affecting the function of the team, then it is not just, it may mean that you need to consider what it is that you do as well. So what you do might be good, but it could be that you need to lessen it, you do it less frequently, but you want to be able to team to be able to function as a unit.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reza.